Hello students. In the previous class we have started with nutrition in plants, which is the autotrophic mode of nutrition, and we have discussed about the various activities in that. I hope you all have read it from the book and you all are clear with all the activities, because they all are very important. For any doubt you can just ask me on WhatsApp, because we have only 2 classes of biology, so I will try to take any one class which will be live, so that I can clear your doubts. Now I will be sending you the next topic's video. Okay, so let's see. After discussing the various activities related to photosynthesis, in which we have discussed the requirements or what are the raw materials required for photosynthesis, now we will see what are the events that actually takes place in photosynthesis. So let us first recall the reaction of photosynthesis. Do you remember the reaction? It is 6 molecules of carbon dioxide plus 12 molecules of water in the presence of sunlight and chlorophyll will form glucose plus 6 molecules of oxygen and 6 molecules of water again. Okay, so in this reaction you can see here, so we have used this reaction, and in this reaction you can see there is the reduction of carbon dioxide takes place into glucose. This is what? Glucose. And you know that what is reduction? So you can see here the reaction of photosynthesis. In this you can see that 6 molecules of carbon dioxide is used to make 1 molecule of glucose. So actually this process is what? Reduction. Because I hope that you should know about reduction, that is the addition of hydrogen molecules. So in this, the glucose which is forming the carbon from this in this glucose is actually coming from this CO2. Okay, and the oxygen which is coming is not from water. That means this oxygen which is released during photosynthesis, because you know these are the two main products which is released out during photosynthesis, that is glucose and oxygen. And this oxygen which is coming here, which is releasing out, is actually coming from water molecules. This is very important point, that the carbon is provided by CO2, which gets reduced to convert it into glucose, and water provides oxygen, which is called photolysis of water. Now we will discuss the events or the steps in photosynthesis. Alright, so let's see the steps. So here you can see, this is the first step, that is absorption of light energy by the chlorophyll, because you know that chlorophyll is the green pigment which is found in leaves, which store or traps the sunlight. Okay, so sunlight will trap or store or absorb the sunlight, and actually these 3 steps they takes place. It is not like they all the 3 steps takes place at the same time, at the 3 events are happening at the same time, but you should be clear that the chlorophyll will first absorb the light, that light will be then used up to convert light energy into chemical energy, and along with the splitting of water molecule to release oxygen, and this splitting of water molecule is actually called photolysis of water. Why do we use term photolysis? Because here the lysis means breakdown and photo means in the presence of light. So water is breaking down in the presence of light. So this is the actual reaction of breaking down of water. So 1 molecule of water in the presence of light will form 1 molecule of hydrogen and half molecule of oxygen. So this is very important point, that the oxygen which is released during photosynthesis is actually coming from water, not from carbon dioxide. Clear? Then let's see the third step, that is reduction of CO2 into carbohydrate. Then this step will be happening by Calvin cycle. There is a cycle through which this carbon dioxide will be converted into a carbohydrate, that is glucose. So these 3 steps are there. This equation is very important. The details of these 3 steps is not there in your syllabus, that is in higher classes we will discuss there, but you should be clear that what is actually happening in the photosynthesis process. And with this we are finished with autotrophic mode of nutrition. Next we will be starting with heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So let's continue with the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So you know that heterotrophic mode of nutrition we have already discussed is the type of nutrition in which an organism is not able to prepare its own food. It is directly or indirectly dependent upon plants. Okay, Why it is directly or indirectly dependent? Because we have different types of organisms. Like you in the lower classes you have studied about herbivores, carnivores, omnivores. So herbivores which are directly eating on plants, and herbivores are eating on those animals which are smaller in size, like okay, carnivores, sorry, not herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores can feed on both. Okay, so directly or indirectly the ultimate food source of food is plant. Okay, and the animals, the human, all they are getting food from plant. That is why this type of nutrition is generally found in animals. So heterotrophic mode of nutrition is clear, and three types we have already discussed, that is saprophytic, parasitic and holozoic type of nutrition that we have done already. Now we will start with nutrition in animals. Before starting the actual process of nutrition, actually we are going to study it in amoeba and human. Okay, so before starting with the actual process in these two organisms which is there in your NCERT book, first we will discuss the steps in nutrition which are common for all the organisms. Either it is a unicellular organism, simple unicellular, or it is a complex multicellular organism. For example, if you talk about amoeba, amoeba is what? Unicellular, or human is multicellular and complex. Whatever is the type of organism, no matters, but these are the common steps for all the living organisms who perform nutrition. So let's see the steps. First step is what? Ingestion. Ingestion means intake of food. Whenever we eat food, the eating of food is called ingestion. And ingestion can be of different types, you can say, in different organisms. Like we are human, we just take the food directly in the holozoic, whole food in the holozoic type of nutrition. Amoeba, it makes a pseudopodia around the food and then engulf it. We have mouth for ingestion. So this is the actual intake of food, in which form and how we are taking in the food. Next is digestion. Digestion is what? Conversion of complex food into simpler substances. Because you know that whenever we take food, whenever any organism take food, it is not in the simple form, it is in the complex form. It has to be first converted into the simplest form. Like if you talk about human, we have to convert the ultimately we have to convert food into glucose, right? So that is why this process of conversion of complex food into simpler substances is called digestion. Next one is the absorption. Absorption of what? Nutrients. Whatever food we eat, when it undergoes digestion, so the simpler form or the nutrients which released out from the food has to be absorbed by the body, because ultimately these nutrients, whatever the useful material which we get from food, is actually enters into the blood for transportation at the various places. So for that it should be first absorbed by the body. Next is assimilation or utilization, you can say. Utilization means whatever food we have taken, we have digested it and we have released, the food has released nutrients, but those nutrients after absorption can be utilized by the body. For example, the best example, you know that whenever we eat food, the simplest form of carbohydrate will be in the form of glucose. Glucose will be absorbed by the body and it will be transported to each and every part of the body, and in each cell this glucose will be utilized by the cell for respiration to release energy. Okay, so utilization means whatever we have taken, that should be utilized by the body for any purpose. Ultimately we require food for producing energy because we have to perform various life activities. That is why we are taking food and then utilizing it. And the next step is digestion. Digestion means removal of waste. So after eating, whatever food which was helpful or beneficial was absorbed by the body, and the waste products will be released out from the body. That process is called removal of waste or digestion. So these are the common steps which are there in all the organisms showing heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Now we will take up nutrition in amoeba. Okay, so let's see nutrition in amoeba. So the same steps will be followed in amoeba also. You know that amoeba is an unicellular organism, and the food particle that is being taken up by amoeba, the process of intake of food particle by amoeba is called endocytosis. This you have already studied in class 9, that whenever the food particle comes near amoeba, it engulfs this food particle, and this process is called endocytosis. Okay, and how does it happen? Like the amoeba will spread its cell membrane around the food particle. Okay, and this spreading of the membrane around the food particle is called pseudopodia. So in amoeba, pseudopodia formation is there, and then this food particle will be engulfed by fusion of these two pseudopodias. These two pseudopodial membranes will fuse with each other like this, so that this food vacuole can be formed inside and the process of ingestion happens. Okay, so first step is clear. Whenever food comes near the amoeba, the pseudopodia will form around it and they will fuse and form the vacuole, and the food will be engulfed. This process is called ingestion. Okay, next step is the same thing, that is the digestion, because the food that has been taken up by amoeba is not in the simple form, it is in the complex form. It has to be converted into the simple form. So inside the amoeba, this food will undergo digestion, and this food vacuole in which the food is enclosed is called food vacuole. How does digestion happens? Like the digestion is what? The enzymes, it is released inside the vacuole. Okay, so digestive enzymes are present in amoeba. It is not having a complex digestive system like us. It has some enzymes in its cytoplasm. Through this they will enter into the food vacuole for digestion. Now this food will be digested and the nutrients will be released. Now these nutrients which are released from the food will be absorbed by the cell, by the amoeba. Okay, and then after release of nutrients into the amoeba, wherever they are required by the cell or the amoeba, it will be utilized by the body for performing various activities, because it also has to perform all the activities like absorption, excretion, reproduction, means everything. For all these activities it requires energy, and for that it has to absorb food and utilize it. And the fifth step will be egestion. In egestion, what will happen? The wasted food will be collected in another vacuole or in the same vacuole, and this vacuole will fuse itself with the membrane of the amoeba, because the cell membrane of this vacuole is same as that of the membrane of the amoeba. And with this fusion, they will release some waste particles outside the body, and this process will be called as egestion. And it will fuse itself in such a way so that it can just open up and then release the waste particles which are not required by the cell. So this is the whole process of nutrition in amoeba, and it is important. It comes in your board exam also, so you should be clear. And whenever you will draw the diagram, you have to mention the steps and labeling what thing is representing what. Okay, so let's see the next part, nutrition in human. Yes, so we will see now nutrition in human beings. Like human beings are the most complex type of organisms, and we have this proper digestive system in our body which help us to do the nutrition process. All the steps which are there in nutrition will be done by this digestive system. So this is the digestive system, and actually digestive system is made up of two parts, that is alimentary canal and digestive glands. Okay, alimentary canal is what? It is like a you can say canal means it's like a pipe, it's like a canal. Okay, so it starts from our mouth and it ends till anus. Okay, so whatever the parts that is included from mouth till anus will be considered as alimentary canal. Along with the alimentary canal is actually from where the passage of food takes place. Okay, and digestive glands, there are three glands in our body which help our body to digest the complex food, like salivary gland here, liver and pancreas. So we have these three glands which are there in the which are included in the digestive system of the body. Okay, and steps I have already told you. Now we will discuss first the diagram of digestive system, and then I will be telling you each function of each and every part. So here you can see the opening from where the food is engulfed or ingested is called mouth. So we have the mouth, which is also called as buccal cavity, which buccal cavity or oral cavity, in which we take in the food. Okay, the next part, inside the mouth the cavity is called buccal cavity. Okay, now this buccal cavity, passing from the pharynx, it will be opened into a pipe like structure which is called esophagus. Esophagus is also called as food pipe, you know that already. And in the mouth, here you can see there is the opening of first gland, digestive gland, which is called salivary gland. So as I told you, digestive alimentary canal is the passage through which the food will pass, and the digestive glands is they are associated with the alimentary canal which help in the digestion of food. So the salivary gland, it secretes saliva which help in the production of means of with the digestion of food. It means the digestion itself starts in the buccal cavity of our body. Okay, then this mouth is connected from the buccal cavity. This pipe like structure which is originating is called esophagus or food pipe. So from this it is connected to the inner portion, that is called stomach. So stomach is present just below the diaphragm. So this is the diaphragm on which the lungs are resting, and just esophagus is directly connected to this part, pouch like structure, which is called stomach. Okay, now the stomach, from the stomach you can see this canal is coming, which is connecting itself to the large intestine part. Okay, and from the stomach, this canal, which is broader in size, is called large intestine, and then small intestine. The stomach is connected directly with the small intestine, and then from small intestine it is connected to the large intestine. Okay, so you all must have studied about intestine, and the name is given to large. So now let's see the actual digestion, how it is happening in the human body. So it is first starts from mouth. So whenever we intake food, in the mouth we have teeth, we have tongue, and secretions from salivary gland. So you know that function of teeth is to chew the food. It masticate the food so that the food can be crushed out, because when we eat food it is in the solid form, so we need to crush it so that its further digestion can become easy. So that inside the mouth or buccal cavity we have these three parts: teeth, tongue, and secretions from salivary gland. And the teeth will help to chew the food to make it soft, to cut it into small pieces. And we know that we have 4 types of teeth in our mouth, like incisors, canines, premolars, molars. They have different functions. Incisors help to cut the food, canine, premolars, and they have to help to grind the food, chew the food into pieces. And that is why the teeth will help in digestion somewhere, because they are just converting the hard food into small pieces. Then second one is the tongue. Tongue will help to mix the food with the saliva, because secretions from salivary gland is called saliva. Okay, and this saliva is mixed with the food with the help of tongue. So it will help in mixing the food with the saliva so that the food can become soft. Okay, so this is the function of tongue, that is mixing of food and saliva. Okay, and the second function, it has taste buds in it. Whatever food we eat, we have some taste, and that taste is because of the presence of some specific papilla present on the tongue. So these taste buds present on the tongue help us to find out the food, the taste of the food. Either it is sour, either it is spicy, or either it is salty or sugary. So that will be done by the tongue. Next function is the salivary gland. It's from the salivary gland. So salivary gland, you can see here, it is present just below our mouth, our buccal cavity, and secrete the secretion inside the buccal cavity. And the secretion from salivary gland is called saliva. Now saliva has some specific enzyme, that is salivary amylase. So this is the main enzyme present in the saliva. This enzyme helps to convert this salivary amylase will help to convert starch present in the food into simple sugars. Okay, like fructose, glucose. So this starch will be converted into the simple sugars. It means that digestion will start in the mouth process only, in the buccal cavity only. Okay, clear? So this was all about mouth. Now let's see the second part. So the next part of alimentary canal is esophagus. Esophagus is also called as food pipe. The function of esophagus is to take the food from the buccal cavity into the stomach. Okay, and this movement of food through esophagus is called peristalsis. Okay, and this is very important term. इसमें बहुत बार क्वेश्चन आता है बोर्ड एग्जाम में. Peristalsis is what? The movement of food from esophagus downwards. If this is the food particle, so this food particle will pass on through the esophagus through some specific movements, which is called peristalsis, which is the actual contraction and relaxation movement of the muscles. So when we have food, after engulfing food, the further movement will be done by the muscles present in the esophagus, which are involuntary muscles, because we have 2 types of actions, voluntary and involuntary. Voluntary, which are under our control. If I am moving my hand, this is voluntary action. And if the food after ingestion, when we will engulf the food, the further movement of food is not in our hand, not in our will. That will be the involuntary movement that will be done by esophagus. And how is it done? Because in the esophagus, it has some muscles which are called smooth muscles, and due to the contraction and relaxation of these muscles, the food will move downward. These will continuously contract and relax, and they will move downward. And this process is called peristalsis. Okay, so the process is called peristalsis. So this is the function of esophagus. Now let's see the function of next part. The next part is what? Stomach, because esophagus is directly connected to stomach, and inside the stomach the food will enter, and in the stomach there are release of some enzymes and some acidic conditions will be provided so that the food can easily be digested for further processing. Okay, like the function of stomach is to release HCl, that is hydrochloric acid, which provides acidic medium. And one more thing I forgot to tell you, that saliva which is secreted is alkaline in nature. Okay, so it has basic pH. So after entering into stomach, the HCl will be released in the stomach, which provides acidic medium. Because acidic medium is required, it has two functions. HCl has two functions. One is the acidic medium. It provides acidic medium for functioning of enzymes, and the other one is it kills the microorganisms which are present, which comes along with the food. When we eat food, there are some bacteria that may enter along with the food. So due to this highly acidic condition which are secreted inside the stomach, the microorganism will be killed, and this is very important. इस पे बहुत बार क्वेश्चन आता है बोर्ड एग्जाम में. What are the main functions of HCl? First is to provide acidic environment so that whatever enzymes which are secreted in the stomach by the wall of the stomach will be helping in will become active, because these are enzymes which becomes active in acidic pH. Second is the microorganisms which comes along with the food will be killed in the acidic medium, because you know that microorganisms cannot survive in the acidic medium. So let's see the other enzyme which is secreted. First is the HCl, and second function is the secretion of enzymes like pepsin. So pepsin enzyme will be secreted by stomach, and it helps in the digestion of proteins. तो proteins की digestion में help करता है. तो carbohydrates की digestion mouth में start हो गई थी, protein की digestion stomach में start हो गई है, but it is not completed yet. Complete digestion कहाँ पे होगी? Small intestine में. ये बहुत important point है, that complete digestion of the food takes place in small intestine. So is it clear? The function of stomach is to release HCl, and second is to release pepsin for the start the digestion of proteins. Now let's see the function of next part. One more thing which is secreted by stomach is mucus. So this HCl, pepsin and mucus, they together will be called as gastric juice. Clear? So gastric juice contains HCl, pepsin and mucus. Now what is the function of mucus? Mucus is actually a fluid substance which is released in the stomach, because there is so much highly acidic conditions present in the stomach. So to protect the cells of the stomach itself, there should be release of mucus, which will cover the layer of the cells and which will make a layer around the cells so that HCl cannot directly harm the cells of the stomach itself. So this mucus is also secreted, and it also makes the condition moisten. It will make the food particles, whatever food is present in the stomach for digestion, it will be moistened by the presence of this mucus. Now let's see the function of next part. So let's see the next part, that is small intestine. Now from the stomach, the food particles will enter into the small intestine. Now along with this, the small intestine also get the secretions from these two glands which are present in the pathway, that is liver and pancreas. So the small intestine will receive the secretions from liver and pancreas. And the final digestion, actual digestion takes place in small intestine, or you can say the complete digestion of food takes place in small intestine. That was started in mouth, they had happened in stomach also, but it will be completely done in small intestine, and absorption also. So function of small intestine is a complete digestion of food, and it receives secretions from liver and pancreas along with its own secretion. तो basically यहाँ पे purpose क्या है हमारा, enzymes को secrete करना है ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा, so that whatever complex forms of food are present in it can be digested out. Okay. So the liver, now let's see the secretions from liver, pancreas. From liver, there is a juice secreted which is called bile juice. It is greenish in color. This bile juice is secreted in the liver and stored in the gallbladder for some time. Whenever it is required, it is then released here, and the common duct will carry this secretion from liver and pancreas to small intestine. Here you can see it is actually connected to small intestine, not to large intestine. Okay, it is present at the back side, so it appears like it is connected to large intestine, but actually it is connected to small intestine. So from here, after getting the secretions, liver will secrete bile juice which is stored in the gallbladder for some time and then released. Bile juice is having for two functions. It is very important. इस पे बहुत बार question आता है. It is for providing the alkaline medium, because the food which was coming from stomach was actually acidic because of HCl. But to maintain that, you can say the concentration or acid, the normal conditions, normal concentration, pH, there should be alkaline medium so that the acidity can be neutralized, which will be done by bile, because bile itself is a alkaline fluid juice. Second is emulsification of fats. Emulsification is breakdown of fats into small particles, because you know that carbohydrate digestion has already started in mouth, but for fats it is not easy to digest fat. Pepsin helped in the digestion of protein here, but to make the fats digestion easy, the big molecules of fat are first broken down into small pieces, which is called emulsification of fat, and this is done by bile. So is it clear? The big molecule of fat are broken down into small pieces so that the further digestion of fats can become easy. Clear? Next part is the pancreas. Pancreas secrete pancreatic juice which has some specific enzyme, amylase, trypsin and lipase. So trypsin and amylase will do the final digestion of carbohydrate. तो जो बच गए थे sugar जो वो will उनका final digestion करेगा. Trypsin will do the final digestion of protein and lipase will do the final digestion of lipids or fats. तो जो फैट्स हमने यहाँ पे इमल्सिफाई किए थे बाइल जूस ने, वो यहाँ पे अल्टीमेटली आके डाइजेस्ट हो जाएंगे फैटी एसिड और ग्लिसरॉल में. ठीक है. और कार्बोहाइड्रेट में अल्टीमेटली क्या बनेगा? ग्लूकोज. और प्रोटीन से क्या बनेगा? अल्टीमेटली अमीनो एसिड्स. और फैट से क्या बनेगा? फैटी एसिड्स एंड ग्लिसरॉल. सो दिस विल बी द फंक्शन ऑफ दीज एंजाइम्स. नाउ इंटेस्टाइन जूस ऑल्सो is also secreted by intestinal wall itself, and it will also help in the digestion of whatever things are left, chymotrypsin and all. So these enzymes will help in the complete digestion of the disaccharides which are released during digestion of carbohydrate. So this is the main area, main part of the digestive system where complete digestion takes place. Now this was the first function. Second function of small intestine is absorption also. So this first function is complete digestion, second function is absorption. So after complete digestion, the food particles, that the nutrients which are released by food will be absorbed in the small intestine, and that is why it has long tube-like structure, because it requires more surface area so that maximum digestion and maximum absorption can take place. So absorption will be takes place with the help of villi. Villi are what? These are the outgrowths of the small intestine. अगर आप अंदर से देखोगे तो इसके अंदर इस तरह से इनफोल्डिंग्स होती हैं, जिनको हम क्या बोलते हैं? विलाई. तो इससे क्या होगा? इट विल इंक्रीज द सरफेस एरिया, इनर सरफेस एरिया ऑफ स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन. तो मैं आपको इस तरह से स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन का अंदर का पोर्शन दिखा रही हूँ. दिस इज कॉल्ड विलाई, सो दैट द सरफेस एरिया कैन बी इंक्रीज्ड. Okay, so this surface area will increase, and then the absorption, maximum absorption will be taken place, and this absorption will directly take the food into the nutrients into blood. So this is the second main function of small intestine, and it is also very important. Many times the question has come in on this. What are the functions and why villi are present in small intestine? To increase the surface area for absorption. Let's take up the next part, that is large intestine. Now after completing the digestion and absorption, the small intestine is connected to this large intestine, and this large intestine is the actual part where the absorption of water takes place, because whatever food we eat, it has water content also, that also has to be absorbed. So absorption of water takes place in the large intestine area, and from large intestine you know that the lower part is colon. Colon will help to absorb water, and it is also helping in the same, whatever amount of water was left will be absorbed by colon, and here the food will become solidified. Waste food you can say. Okay, so in this part the food will be solidified, because the important nutrients which were there in the food, they were already has been absorbed by small intestine. Now what is left in large intestine is the waste food along with some water. So in the colon, after reaching the colon, the complete absorption of water takes place and the food will be now solidified. Then rectum. Rectum is for temporary storage of food or waste. Okay. So the rectum, whatever after absorption of the water from the waste particles, the waste food will be now stored in the rectum, and then anus is the opening from where egestion takes place, that is release of waste. Okay, and so whenever the rectum will be filled with the waste material, then it will be passed out through the anus. Anus is not a structure, it is just the opening, and it will be released out from the body. Okay, so with this, complete digestive system is done, and wherever I have told you the important points where there are chances of having questions in the board exam, I have told you already, and this is the complete diagram. It is also very important, along with every structure and its function. And with this, we are finished with the nutrition part also. In the next class, we will start with respiration. You just have to go through the topic and do the question answers related to this topic, and then you can take queries also. Bye bye.